I recently talked to you about the difference between waste and slack, under-provisioned or non-utilized resources that are wasteful versus those that are being done for a purpose. Now, sometimes you have waste masquerading as slack. So, for example, spikes in demand. So, let's talk about ways that you can deal with that. And one reason people over provision resources is that a small portion of the time there's a spike in usage. That sounds like slack, right? Let's see how we could maybe convert it to waste at least some of the time and eliminate it. I'll give you an example. These can get arbitrarily complex, but in Shoreline, our backends are pretty low utilization most of the time. But once an hour, we pull telemetry data from all of our agents, resulting in a big spike, both in CPU and in memory and in network utilization. But for about a minute, the system's running all out. So how do we reduce that? I mean, we need to pull the data, right? The first answer to it is, how do we smooth it out? So rather than making a request to all of the agents for once every hour, let's make a request to 20% of the agents, for each minute of 5 minutes. Now, you should see that load submerged to 20%. As you do that, maybe you can actually reduce the size of your instance by to a quarter. That saves a lot of money, and so that's basically how you can smooth over time to reduce spikes. Now, obviously, Shoreline's a multi-tenant system, and it's running pods inside EKS. So, the other thing you can do is just to have different backend pods issue these requests at different times. And so that can even further smooth things out. So, even better than that would be to have the agents, rather than shipping on a request, basically push the data themselves whenever it's ready and just store it on the backend and then process it locally whenever the backend has spare cycles. That avoids that interaction between foreground activity, background activity, and the agents can just run whenever they want to do. That smooths it out yet further. So it's not just about pods or backends; it's about leveraging all of the agents to even things out even more. So what could be even better than that? Well, why am I shipping data at all? I mean, the whole point of Shoreline is that it provides real-time distributed queries on a per second basis, and we ship those requests to the agent. The majority of our customers have observability systems for long-term retention. I mean, we do a pretty great job of long-term retention of data. I've talked about in the past with how we do compression, but they don't need it, except they only need the real-time per second data when there's something going on that's wrong. They don't need it for long-term retention. So, you can maybe load the customers that want us to do the observability alongside the customers that don't. Further smooths things out. So, it's a somewhat simplistic approach, but this is just a LinkedIn video after all. But it hopefully gets you thinking about how to reduce spikes, reduce variability without over provisioning. I hope you'll describe how you've approached similar things about reducing spikes in utilization in the comments. Look forward to reading.